Many years ago, there lived an emotional lady named Nana Afia Mensima. Everyone who knew her for her fragile emotion. Nana had never reacted halfway before. She always reacted fully. If someone stepped on her toe in the market, she would not say sorry and move on. She would ask for explanation, background story, and family history. If a taxi driver insulted another driver, Nana would insult both of them and add commentary. Her emotions did not know what it means to sit down quietly. Thankfully, Kwabena, her husband, knew this about her before he married her. On their first date, when a waiter brought the wrong drink for them, Nana stood up and delivered a speech on attention to detail. That day, Kwabena had watched quietly, slightly fascinated and slightly afraid. Well, he married her anyway after convincing himself and telling his friends that love is adventure. What he didn't know was that the adventure would include arguing with people who could not hear her. Years later, during lockdown, boredom entered their house and Nana needed something to occupy her spirits. That was when she discovered a particular TV channel that shows different interesting soap operas. However, everything was going on well for the longest until a particular soap opera titled Broken Promises started to air. At first, though, the show was innocent. I promise you it was. Until Kobe entered. Kobe was the smooth-talking husband on the show who had sugar in his mouth that looked harmless and conscience that looked optional. He smiled too easily, apologized too quickly, and lied too smoothly. The first time he cheated on his wife, Adwa, Nana dropped her spoon inside the stew. Hey! She shouted at the television. This boy is useless. Kwabena, who was reading the news quietly, jumped. Who is useless? This could be person. He's a disgrace. Kwabena blinked. But he cannot hear you. I know, Nana snapped, but I must speak. From that day, Nana did not just watch television, she participated in it. If Adwa cried, Nana would cry louder. If Kobe lied, Nana would stand up and shout, "You think she's foolish? You think she cannot see you?" Kwabena tried to reason with her one evening. "Nana, it is a script, oh." "Script my foot," Nana replied without looking away from the screen. "Some men behave like this in real life." Kwabena slowly lowered his newspaper. "Which men?" "All men have potential," Nana replied. Kwabena nodded carefully. Soon, watching the show became a ceremony. Nana prepared before every episode like someone attending a court hearing. She arranged a pillow, positioned herself at a perfect angle, and kept the remote close like a weapon. If the episode was intense, she would stand up mid-scene. One night at 10:45 p.m., she shook Kwabena awake. "Wake up!" He opened one eye. "Is it fire?" "No," Nana shook her head. "Thief?" "No," Nana shook her head again. "Then what is it?" "She forgave him again," Nana said. Kwabena closed his eye. Who forgave who? Adwa. She forgave Kobe after the incident. Kwabena sighed deeply. "Nana, those are actors. Actors with bad decisions." Kwabena turned his face to the wall slowly. Over time, her commentary became louder. She would shout as if they could hear her. "Don't go into that room. No, stop. Check his phone now. Check his phone. Hey, this man will never change." Even Auntie Mansa, their neighbor next door, now knew the show schedule. If Nana's voice rose sharply at 8 p.m., it meant Kobe had misbehaved again. One evening, there was a loud knock on the door. Kwabena opened it and saw Auntie Mansa standing there in wrapper. "Is everything okay?" the woman asked. "Yes," Kwabena replied tiredly. "We heard shouting." "It is television," Kwabena replied. Auntie Mansa nodded slowly. "Tell him to behave." Kwabena frowned. "Tell who?" "That cheating boy on the television. Tell him to behave." Kwabena nodded and closed the door gently. Inside, Nana was pacing in front of the TV. Look at his face, she hissed, smiling like an innocent goat. Kwabena stared at her. You are sweating. I am emotionally invested, Nana insisted. That is not healthy, Kwabena corrected. But Nana maintained it is justice. As episodes continued, Nana began predicting the next scenes. If he touches that phone, he's deleting messages, she would say. And the moment Kobe touched the phone, Nana would scream triumphantly, you see, I know men. Kwabena stared at her carefully. What do you mean by you know men? I know patterns, Nana said again. Well, Kwabena felt personally attacked by pattern. One particular Sunday evening, the episode reached another level. Kobe took Adwa to an expensive restaurant. He held her hand and spoke softly to her. Immediately, Nana narrowed her eyes. This is manipulation. Kwabena asked, how? He will cheat tomorrow, Nana said. Well, the next scene showed Kobe texting another woman secretly. Nana jumped up. Hey, I said it. She pointed at the screen aggressively. Don't trust him. Kwabena shook his head slowly. You are arguing with pixels. She ignored him completely. By now, the show had become her therapy, her battlefield, and her courtroom. Every time Kobe lied, something inside Nana reacted personally. Her breathing would change, her tone would sharpen, and her eyes would start to glisten. Kwabena noticed it but did not fully understand it. One night, as the closing credits for that episode rolled, Nana stood in front of the television with her hands on her hips. This man will not survive in this house, she said. Kwabena froze. In this house? Yes. But he does not live here, Kwabena said. He lives in my spirit, Nana explained. Kwabena sat down slowly. The next morning, Nana woke up with unusual seriousness. She started thinking immediately she sat up. Kwabena noticed it and said, you are quiet. I am observing, Nana replied. Observing what? He asked. Patterns, she said. Kwabena swallowed his saliva. That word again, pattern. While brushing her teeth, Nana spoke from the bathroom. Kwabena. Yes, he answered. If you were in that situation, would you cheat? She asked. Kwabena froze. What situation? If you were married to me, Nana said. Kwabena stared at the bathroom door. I am married to you already. I mean hypothetically, she said. Kwabena walked closer and asked, Nana, why are we hypothetically cheating? I am just asking, oh, Nana said. No, Kwabena replied. No, what? She asked. No, I would not cheat, he said. Nana stepped out with her towel in her hand. Immediately, she asked. Yes, Kwabena nodded. No hesitation. Kwabena blinked. What kind of interview is this now? Nana narrowed her eyes slightly. Some men say no quickly. I am saying no quickly because the answer is no now, Kwabena said. She studied his face like an investigator and said, but that was dangerous. Later that afternoon, Nana called Efwa. Efwa was her friend. Hey, have you watched yesterday's episode? Nana asked. Efwa gasped. I almost broke my spoon. That man will never change. Same here, Nana replied. That Kobe man is very wicked, oh. He is a professional liar. Efwa lowered her voice. You know, these men, they start with small deceits. Yes, oh, Nana nodded. They smile too much, Efwa added. Yes, Nana nodded. They say relax, Efwa said. Yes, Nana nodded again and then she froze. Relax? Kwabena said relax often. Efwa continued. If your husband suddenly starts smiling too peacefully, watch him. Nana's eyes widened slightly. Kwabena smiled peacefully every morning. After the call, she walked into the sitting room where Kwabena was scrolling through his phone. As he laughed at something on the screen, she paused. What is funny? Kwabena looked up. Nothing. It's just a meme. What meme? She asked. Just a joke. Nana moved closer. Show me. Kwabena showed her. It was harmless anyway, but she stared anyway. Who sent it? She asked. My colleague, he replied. Female colleague? Yes, he nodded. There was silence then. Nana asked, what is her name? Akosua, he replied. Why is she sending you things? Nana asked. Kwabena sighed. It is a group chat. Nana folded her arms slowly. Group chat is where things start. Kwabena blinked repeatedly. It is office. Nana nodded slowly. I am watching. That evening, as broken promises began, Nana's energy was different. It was not just entertainment now. She entered into full research mode. Kobe was on the screen apologizing dramatically to Adwa again. I made a mistake, he said. Nana stood up immediately. Don't believe him. Kwabena shifted uncomfortably. Nana, it is acting now. Acting reflects reality, Nana argued. She pointed at the screen. Do you see the way he's lowering his voice? That's his technique. Kwabena looked at her. I lowered my voice. Nana turned sharply. When? Now, Kwabena replied. There was silence. She stared at him and he stared at her back. Then she turned back to the TV slowly. Just be careful, she muttered. The next day, something small happened. Kwabena came home slightly late from work. Just 30 minutes because traffic had misbehaved that evening. He entered the house smiling. Sorry, I am late. Nana looked at the clock and dimmed her eyes. You did not call. My battery died, Kwabena explained. Her eyes narrowed the more. Battery died? She repeated. Yes, Kwabena nodded. How convenient, Nana said. Kwabena blinked. Nana, yes, she replied. I was in traffic, Kwabena said. Traffic can also lie, Nana argued. Kwabena stared at her in disbelief. Are you serious? Nana shrugged. I am learning, oh. Learning what? He asked. I am learning men's pattern, Nana replied. Kwabena put his bag down slowly. I am not Kobe. I did not say you are, Nana replied. But you're treating me like a case study, Kwabena said. Nana crossed her arms and replied, if the shoe does not fit, relax. That night, the arguments on TV became intense. Kobe denied everything and blamed Adwa for being insecure. Nana gasped loudly. Insecure? Hey! Kwabena rubbed his forehead. Nana, calm down. She turned to him sharply. Do not tell me to calm down. Kwabena raised his hand slightly. I am just saying. Nana glared. Just saying is how gaslighting starts. Kwabena froze. Gaslighting? Yes, Nana nodded. Ha! I am just sitting on my own, oh, Kwabena defended. You are minimizing my emotion, Nana attacked. And Kwabena stared at her as if he had entered the wrong house. To make matters worse, that night, Kobe did too much. He returned from seeing another woman and deleted the messages secretly again. Nana's face changed completely. She stood up and walked closer to the screen. You see, that is how it begins. Kwabena stood up too. Begin what? Nana replied, hidden life. Kwabena laughed nervously. You are fighting with television. Nana grabbed the remote tightly. I am fighting for justice. She pressed pause aggressively, then unpaused, then paused again. Her breathing grew faster. Kwabena watched her carefully now from a distance. This was no longer just entertainment. Something deeper seemed to have woken up. She turned slowly to him. If you ever delete message, tell me now. I delete spam messages, Kwabena replied. That is how it starts, Nana shouted. Nana! She ignored him and pointed at the screen again. This man thinks he's smart. Kwabena sighed. Kobe is fictional now. Pain is not fictional, Nana argued. The remote slipped slightly from her hand and hit the edge of the television. A small crack appeared at the bottom of the television frame. They both stared in short silence. Kwabena spoke slowly. Nana, yes? You cracked the television. Nana looked at the small crack. Then at Kobe's frozen face on the screen. Her chest rose and fell. He deserves worse. she said. Kwabena stared at her as if he was trying to calculate how a fictional man had nearly destroyed a real television. Nana, it is lead, not a punching bag. Nana did not respond immediately. Her eyes were still locked on Kobe's paused smirk. That smirk, that irritating, confident and manipulative smirk. Something inside her chest tightened. Kwabena walked closer to inspect the damage. It is small, he said. We can manage. Manage? Nana repeated slowly. Yes, Kwabena nodded. Nana pressed play again and the episode resumed. Kobe was speaking calmly to Adwa. You are overthinking, he said on screen. Nana froze. Overthinking? Her face changed and her breathing changed too. Kwabena noticed it. Nana, she did not answer him. On screen, Adwa began to doubt herself. Kobe leaned closer and said, you are imagining things. Imagining things? The words entered Nana's ears like arrow. Suddenly, the living room felt smaller and she was no longer seeing the television. She was remembering years ago. Another man, another soft voice saying, you are imagining things. You are too emotional. You are overreacting. Her hands began to shake slightly. Kwabena saw it and called her. Nana, it's a script. Do not say that, she whispered. Kobe deleted messages on screen again, smiling calmly and confidently. Nana stood up slowly. She walked closer to the television and said under her breath, stop smiling. Kwabena moved from the couch. Nana, stop smiling, she shouted at the screen. But Kobe continued smiling, speaking. Adwa cried. Nana's voice cracked. You think she's foolish? You think she cannot see? Kwabena stepped closer. Nana, please, it is acting. Acting my foot, Nana shouted. She grabbed the nearest throw pillow and threw it at the television. It bounced harmlessly. The smirk remained in Kobe's face and her anger rose higher. Leave him, she screamed at Adwa. But on screen, Adwa hugged Kobe instead. Nana gasped loudly. No! Kwabena reached for her arm. Nana, calm down. She jerked her arm away. Do not touch me. Kwabena froze. Nana's eyes were glossy now. She was not just angry, she was hurt. The episode intensified and Kobe raised his voice slightly. It's all in your head. Nana's chest tightened painfully. In her head? She remembered the night she confronted her former boyfriend years ago. She had found messages, but he had laughed and said, you are insecure. He even made her felt as if she was crazy. She had cried alone that night. She had swallowed the insult and had never fully released it. Now, Kobe's voice was echoing the same tone. Unfortunately, her body reacted before her mind could stop it. She grabbed the small decorative stool near the wall. Kwabena screamed, Nana! But she did not hear him. She hurled the stool toward the television and it hit the target correctly. The screen shook violently. It tilted, slid off the wall and then fell forward. The sound of glass breaking filled the room. It was loud and shocking. Then silence followed. There was no more background music or dramatic soundtrack. Just broken glass on the floor. Kwabena stood frozen. His mouth was slightly open. Nana stood there, breathing heavily. Her hands were trembling. They both stared at the shattered screen. For a moment, neither of them moved. Then, Auntie Mansa's voice echoed from outside. Hey, what happened? Kwabena blinked and quickly shouted, Nothing! Nothing broke, Auntie Mansa asked from outside. No, nothing, Kwabena replied. He looked at the floor again. Everything broke. Nana slowly sank to the couch. Her chest was still rising and falling rapidly. Kwabena looked at her in disbelief. You threw the stool. She did not respond. You broke the television, he said again. Still, she did not respond. He walked closer and crouched in front of her. Nana, Her eyes were wet now. It was not about Kobe, she whispered. Kwabena's expression softened slightly. I know. She shook her head slowly. No, you do not know. It was that night. Kwabena frowned slightly. What night? Nana swallowed hard. The night he told me I was imagining things. He said it was all in my head. Kwabena's face changed. He had heard pieces of that old story before, but never the full depths. He made me feel crazy, Nana continued. He smiled as if nothing happened. She looked at the broken screen and said, Kobe smiled the same way. Kwabena exhaled slowly. So, the real issue was not even the soap opera. Kwabena sat beside her. You never healed from that. Nana wiped her face quickly. I thought I did. Kwabena looked at the shattered screen. See, you fought the wrong man. Nana looked away. I know. Outside, Auntie Mansa knocked again. Is everything okay? Kwabena stood up and quickly said, Yes. Are you sure? She asked. Kwabena replied, Yes. He turned back to Nana. The living room looked like a battlefield. Pieces of glass lay scattered everywhere. He rubbed his forehead slowly. This one is not small money. Nana nodded. I know. Kwabena looked at her and pointed. We will clean this mess. She nodded. He said, but Nana, next time, let us fight real issues, not lead. Now, if Nana had been in a normal mood, she would have replied with a sharp comeback, something like, the lead started it. But this time, she said nothing. Kwabena picked up a broom. Nana brought a dustpan and they started cleaning. From outside, Auntie Mansa's slippers shuffled closer. The woman didn't know how to give up. Knock, knock. Nana, Kwabena, I heard something. Kwabena froze. Nana whispered, don't open. Knock, knock, is it thieves? Auntie Mansa called out again. Kwabena inhaled deeply and opened the door halfway. Auntie Mansa leaned in immediately like a news reporter. What happened? Nothing, Kwabena said. But she stretched her neck and saw the broken television. Hey! Her voice rose 3 octaves. Was it earthquake? Kwabena shook his head. No. Your generator exploded? She asked. No, Kwabena shook his head. She looked at Nana suspiciously. Then what happened? Nana cleared her throat and said, it was Kobe. Auntie Mansa blinked. Who is Kobe? The man on television. Auntie Mansa looked at Kwabena. He gave a small helpless nod. Auntie Mansa looked back at Nana. You broke television because of movie? It was not just movie, Nana muttered. At that moment, Auntie Mansa stepped inside fully without invitation. Hey, Nana, you need deliverance, so. Kwabena coughed gently. We are fine. Auntie Mansa shook her head dramatically. This is why I watch only news. She turned to Nana. My sister, it is not the man inside television who will cheat. It is the one sitting next to you. Kwabena nearly choked. Madam, Auntie Mansa shrugged. I am just saying, no. She lowered her voice and then added, don't let fiction spoil real life husband. Nana folded her arms slowly. It was emotional trigger. Auntie Mansa blinked again. Trigger? Is that the new word for anger? Kwabena quickly intervened. Thank you, Auntie Mansa. We'll handle it. She nodded. Okay, oh, handle it before the next episode. Then she left, shaking her head. Nana sat back down slowly while Kwabena resumed sweeping. The broom moved rhythmically. After a few minutes, Nana spoke up. How much was this television? Kwabena paused. Do you want the old price or the current price? Nana sighed. Just tell me. Kwabena mentioned the amount and her eyes widened. Ha! That is a plot of land. Kwabena nodded. Yes. Ha! That is 3 months full salary. Kwabena nodded again. Yes. Nana covered her face briefly. Ha! I broke a plot of land because of Kobe. Kwabena almost laughed but controlled himself. We will survive, he said. But it is my fault, Nana said. Kwabena nodded. Yes. They both looked at the blank wall. The room felt strange without the television lights. That night, they sat in silence and Nana's hands felt restless. She reached for the remote automatically, but there was nothing to control. She exhaled slowly. Kwabena glanced at her. "Are you okay?" She nodded. "I am just quiet." "You are not used to being quiet, right?" Nana smiled. "Yes." Kwabena smiled. "You know, when you shout at the television, it is funny." Nana looked embarrassed. "But today was not funny." Kwabena shook his head. "No, it was not." He sat beside her and said, "Nana, I am not him." Nana nodded. "I know. But sometimes you look at me as if I am him." Nana looked at him slowly and said, "I am sorry." He nodded. "I understand pain can recycle." The next morning, Mr. Boateng, the repairman, arrived. He examined the screen like a doctor checking a patient. Then he shook his head and said, "Madam, this one has crossed." "Crossed where?" Nana asked. "To the world beyond repair." Kwabena asked about the cost of possible repair and Mr. Boateng mentioned the amount. Immediately, Nana's face tightened. "Please go," she said. After he left, she told Kwabena, "I will replace it." He looked at her. "You don't have to." "I do," she said. "But a smaller one." Kwabena nodded. "All right, smaller is safer." That evening, Auntie Mansa shouted from outside, "Nana, Kobe cheated again." Nana froze. Her body reacted slightly. Then she inhaled deeply and stayed seated. Kwabena watched her tightly. "You are not going to check?" Nana shook her head slowly. "I cannot fight a man who lives in pixels." Kwabena smiled. Progress. Nana leaned back against the couch and said, "I think I need to fight the real one inside." Kwabena nodded. "Yes, you do." Nana crossed her arms and stared at the empty space. "I did not even shout like this when it happened," she said. Kwabena did not ask which it. He knew it was her past. "You were quiet then," he said. "I was stupid then," she replied. Kwabena shook his head. "No, you were just hurt." Nana exhaled slowly. "I let him convince me I was overreacting. I doubted my own eyes." Kwabena listened quietly. Nana continued. "When Kobe said you are insecure, I felt like I was back in that room." Kwabena nodded. "I saw it." Nana frowned. "You saw it?" "Yes." "You were not arguing with the television. You were arguing with memory." Nana looked at him carefully. "You are wise when you are not stressed." Kwabena smiled. "I am always wise. You just mute me sometimes." She almost laughed. The next few days felt strange. Nana did not watch any soap opera at 8 p.m. She didn't shout at 8:12 p.m. and she didn't rain insults at 8:35 p.m. One night at exactly 8 p.m., Nana sat upright automatically. Her body was already trained to do so. Kwabena watched her from the other side of the room. "You are itching," he said. "I am not itching," she replied. "Yes, you are." She sighed. "Okay, just small." She stood up, walked to the empty wall and touched it lightly. Then she shook her head and walked back to sit down. "This is embarrassing." "No," Kwabena replied. "This is detox." "Detox from fictional nonsense?" Nana asked. He nodded. "Yes." The following morning, Nana called Efua. "I broke the television," she said. Efua gasped loudly. "How?" "With a stool," Nana replied. Efua froze. "Hey, Nana." Nana explained it was emotional. "You need prayer," Efua concluded. Nana nodded. "I need sense." Efua lowered her voice. "You know, sometimes we project what is not as what is." Nana nodded. "I know." Efua asked, "Do you still think about that man?" Nana nodded. "Yes." Efua sighed. "You never truly healed." That afternoon, Nana opened her phone and searched for something she had been avoiding for years. Online counseling in Ghana. She stared at the options, closed the browser, then opened it again. Maybe I am overdoing it, she muttered. Kwabena came from behind and said, "You are not overdoing it." She jumped up. How do you always hear what I am thinking? Kwabena smiled. "I am married to you, remember." Nana hesitated. "I think I need to talk to someone." Kwabena nodded immediately. "Good, you should." "You are not angry?" she asked. "I was angry about the television, not about your healing," he said. She looked at him carefully. "Are you sure?" He nodded. "Yes." That night, they sat outside at the veranda since there was no television to watch. Auntie Mansa shouted from next door, "Hey, Kobe has been exposed." Nana froze instinctively. Kwabena watched her. She inhaled, counted slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then she remained seated. Kwabena smiled. "You did not run?" Nana shook her head. "I am not running after Pixel Man again." The next week, they got a smaller television. As Kwabena mounted it on the wall, Nana stood watching. "This one looks humble," she said. "Yes, it knows its limits." Nana folded her arms. "It should have new rules." Kwabena raised his eyebrow. "What rules?" Nana counted on her finger. "No standing up to argue." "Good," Kwabena nodded. "No throwing objects." Kwabena nodded again. "Excellent." "No discussing fictional men at midnight." Kwabena laughed. "Perfect." Nana paused. "And if I feel triggered, I will pause." He nodded approvingly. "That is leadership." The first episode she watched after the replacement felt different. Kobe appeared on screen again, still smiling smoothly. When he started apologizing dramatically, Nana's jaw tightened slightly. She leaned forward a bit and gripped the sofa. Her breathing increased. Then she paused the show. Kwabena held his breath. Nana closed her eyes briefly and whispered to herself, "He is fictional." She pressed play again, and this time she remained seated. When Kobe said, "You are insecure," Nana did not shout. She just laughed and said, "Old pattern." Kwabena blinked. "Are you laughing at him?" Nana smiled. "Yes." "Why?" Kwabena asked. She shrugged. "Because I know better now." Thankfully, the episode ended and there was no crack, no flying objects, and no neighbor knocking. Kwabena leaned back with relief. "You survived." Nana looked at him and smiled. "We survived." Later that night, as they prepared for bed, Nana paused at the doorway. "Kwabena." "Yes," he replied. "If I ever start fighting invisible enemies again, remind me." Kwabena smiled. "I will, always." Nana nodded. Thank you for watching the story. Kindly share your thoughts about the story with me in the comments section. Give the story a thumbs up and share the story out with your loved ones. Subscribe to this channel if you've not done so by now. Until I bring another story your way. Bye!